It's a privilege to be here tonight back in Magic Valley, and I love to share the stage with Dr. Meyerhofer and the other dignitaries, including Board of Trustees Chairman Dr. Thad Scholes, Board Trustees Carl Kleinkoff and Laird Stone, and State Board of Education member Milford Terrell. First of all, I want to thank all you family members and friends for being here, taking time out on this beautiful summer afternoon evening to be here to celebrate with these wonderful graduates. I know we're all so busy and there's so many other things going on. I've had company for 2 months and I finally just took my aunt to the airport this morning, and I'm feeling kind of bad because the airplane doesn't leave till next week. It's a privilege to be here. Drove from Eagle this morning, and I want to again thank everyone for being here. And you graduates, how fun is this? I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is you graduated. You convinced your teachers to pass you. Is this good? And this hardworking faculty did it for you, and you owe them a debt of gratitude. Now the bad news. There aren't any jobs. The country is self-destructing. You'll never get out of debt. You're going to have to live in a tent in the forest and pick berries to sell at the fair. But good luck. Fear not. I'm here to tell you that it's going to be okay. Please know that I've been around the block so many times I have my own lane. I know where the pitfalls are. I know where it's all downhill. I know where the bad dog lives. And I know where the exit is to get a fresh donut. My advice comes from a Southern Idaho farm girl who chose to seize the day and never look back. I know you're not going to recall too many things of tonight, so I only have 2 things. You can do that. 2. 1, what you do in the next 5 years will set the course for the rest of your life. And 2, you have the potential to be extraordinary. Why are 5 years so important? 5 years ago, some of you were still in high school, living at home with mom and dad. You couldn't wait to grow up and be on your own and show them no curfew for you. Now you're graduating and you're realizing that, yeah, you gotta buy food, car insurance, pay the rent, buy groceries, pay off your bookie, go to work. Oh, scratch that one. Freedom comes with responsibilities. Now project 5 years in the future. Your hopes and dreams could be surpassed. They could be postponed. They could be ruined. You could be happily married and have 5 kids. But remember, you have to feed, clothe, house, and nurture each and every one of them for 18 years. You could have an illness, you could be injured. You might be a graduate from a 4-year institution in Idaho. I would like to encourage those of you who are going on, about 1/3 of you are going on to a 4-year school. Stay in Idaho. We have some marvelous institutions. There's the flagship up north. There's 4 at Idaho State University in Pocatello. There's one in Lewiston, and then there's some school in Boise. Boise State University, it's a good school. But Idaho has some very fine institutions that I encourage you to try. You might be unemployed and searching for work in 5 years. You might be living in a relative's barn. And statistics show that at least one of you will be dead. Any of these scenarios will impact the rest of your life. There you have it. Now, the second point. You have the potential to be extraordinary. Never doubt that potential. I grew up on a farm outside Wendell, population 1,000. You've probably been there shopping or to see the sights. I grew up working in the fields. My dad had about 5,000 acres of potatoes. And I worked on the potato harvester, and I also hoed beets. My father instilled in me a hunger for work. And that's because no work, no dinner. He also had a trucking company called Montana Express, and there were about 60 18-wheel trucks. I told him I was tired of working in the fields and I wanted a job in transportation. So he got me a paper route. Every day, I rode my bicycle through Wendell. And Wendell didn't have a paper, so I delivered the Twin Falls Times-News. And I had 68 customers because there were 68 people in Wendell who could read. I love Wendell. The downside of the paper route is that I got a fear of dogs, which I still have to this day. They would chase me and bite me. I was just a little kid, and they would chase me, and I was so afraid. And there was this great big collie who would run up and put his big hairy paws on my shoulders. And he had this big, ugly head and this horrible, putrid, bad breath, and he was making terrible guttural noises. But it was good because it prepared me for my dates at the University of Idaho. Yes, I grew up in a small town during an easier time. My mother would send me to the grocery store, and I would come back with fresh bread, eggs, a roast, and a pie or two. You can't do that anymore. There are too many security cameras. Growing up in a small town made me eager to see the world, and yes, there is life beyond Wendell. I've traveled to and experienced 32 countries around the world. I've toured the Taj Mahal in India. I've floated the Nile in Egypt and been into the pyramids. I've gone on an African safari. I've ridden a bull elephant in the jungles of Nepal and watched a tiger kill a water buffalo. I've climbed to the top of the Vatican in Rome. I've had lunch on the second floor of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I've written poetry in Ireland. I've eaten bird's nest soup in Hong Kong and ridden a zip line in Costa Rica. And I've also driven through Spain to the Mediterranean Sea. It's like Wendell, but different. Now, I wasn't rich to do this. I took advantage of opportunities to inexpensively explore my world. I joined the concert choir at the University of Idaho, and in 1971 we toured Europe. I was only 2 years old. We went to 6 countries through Europe. Later, when my daughter was in high school and her class toured Europe, I went along as a chaperone. She wasn't too happy about that, but I got to tour 6 more countries. Then I became the volunteer president of the University of Idaho Alumni Association and traveled as a paid hostess on alumni trips to Ireland and Spain and Italy. I signed up for inexpensive tours, you know, the kind where you follow the guy with the flag, just so I could see things. And I was there and I wanted to see the world. And even though I eagerly saw the sights, I always came home to Idaho. Besides traveling the world, being from a small town enabled me to expand my horizons through my career. In a small town, you have to join a club. You have to be the leader of a club because there's no one else to do it. So there are leadership opportunities. When I graduated from the University of Idaho, I walked into KMBT and I said, "You don't have a female on the air." And they said, "Have you ever been on TV before?" I went, "Sure." That was in 1956 when I was on Happy Holly Hopper's Buckaroos. Some of you may remember that. But they hired me and I had a great time. And KMBT gave me my start in television. Since then, I've gone to the University of Utah, and I was a manager at Boise Cascade Corporation, and then I started to write books, and I write and publish books by women for women. Several of these books have won awards, and I also write 2 blogs. One's called Midlife Cabernet, because middle-aged women need to have a little drink to make it through the evening, don't you think? Don't tell me that it's difficult to succeed if you're from a small town. It's actually easier because you know how to be a leader and you know that you can go down the road and see what's out there. Trust me. It hasn't all been glory. Through the years, I've made enormous mistakes, and I've cried myself to sleep more than once. But because I have the spirit of a tough farm girl from Idaho, I find a way to survive and thrive. I've discovered that the sense of humor can diffuse any tense situation. And I incorporate humor in my writing. You could probably tell that all these gentlemen up here want to read my bestseller, Menopause Sucks. Because it does. And I explain why you sneeze, fart, and wet your pants at the same time. It's another great literary journal that academia loves. I've also been blessed with a loving husband, amazing children, and adorable grandchildren. I celebrate the future because of them, especially my 3-year-old granddaughter. She has Down syndrome, and she's a reminder that blessings come in small, unpredictable packages that may not look like or learn as quickly as others. But she's a radiant example of abundant and unconditional love in a world too focused on perfect images and shallow affection. College graduates are told that they'll succeed if they just work hard, put their noses to the grindstone, and keep going. I pragmatically remind you that's not always true. There could be some disaster that could destroy your dreams, but how you react to these challenges will prove how well you can succeed. What is success? To some, it's a pickup that runs and a camping trip, and that's okay. I want to give you my brief 5 points of success. 1, make and manage money. Yeah, we got to talk about money here. You can't explore the world, save the masses, actualize inner peace if you can't buy food or pay the rent. And as basic as it sounds, yes, you need to get a job and work. Avoid debt. If you have a student loan, pay it off and don't get another one. Remember that no one owes you a living, and your parents might want to sell a house, buy an RV, and travel to square dancing competitions. You're on your own. Believe in your personal power. Be more than the title of your business cards. When I worked at the corporation in Boise, so many people were hooked on their business cards that if you took that away, they didn't know who they were. Participate in your community activities. Run for office. Run for the school board. Volunteer for activities. Coach Little League. Visit nursing homes. Be happy with who you are. One of my assignments at KMVT was to interview the Sheep Man of the Year. And I was really irritated at this. I wanted a hard-hitting feature news political story, but I had to drive to Minidoka County and interview the Sheep Man of the Year. I'll never forget it. He was this big house of a man and had this weathered, craggy face and these huge, gnarled hands. He's the most content man I've ever met. His sheep provided jobs, they provided an income, they provided food, they provided wool. He was so content because he was doing what he was supposed to do. A couple years ago, I was really feeling sorry for myself, so I went on a gratitude cruise all by myself. Nothing says loser like going on a cruise by yourself. But I did, because I wanted that attitude of gratitude that I was losing. And one of the best speakers there was Dr. Sue Morter. And her advice is, life is hard until it's not. You decide. And that's good. Another tip is throw away the baggage. I am afraid to watch an episode of Hoarders because I'm going to be on it. I'm a pack rat. I save everything. After my last child went off to college, I moved to a smaller house and I had to clean out. I saved everything. I had their little baby teeth in little envelopes with a diagram of where on the mouth it came off. I had every school paper they had ever done. I had so much garbage that I filled 200 bags. And in the basement, in the refrigerator freezer, in the back corner, was a little bottle of breast milk. My son was 22 and didn't want it. I'm not going to throw that away. I worked too hard for that. I buried it in a velvet Crown Royal pouch. But the baggage analogy is true for all our problems. We can remember everything that bad that was ever said to us. And if we carry that baggage with us, it gets heavy. We need to throw it away. Pretend there's a big garbage truck coming, it's going to get all that baggage and go off and never come back. And you'll feel lighter and you'll be free. I did keep a petrified turtle's egg, but I don't know why. I need counseling for that. 2 more things. Strive for physical and mental health. Be aware that there are pollutants that are destroying your mind and body right now. I know it's tempting to eat a pecan pie and a bowl of ice cream, but it's also boring to have a wardrobe of only black sweatpants. Remember that friends, hugs, and spontaneous laughter are better than vitamins. Another important bit of healthy advice: avoid crabby people. They're everywhere. Avoid them. They will suck out your very soul. Avoid them. Laugh more. Rent funny movies. Read humorous books. Make sure that you have a good belly laugh that makes milk run out your nose. That'll make you feel good. The best prescription on this was written more than 4,000 years ago. A merry heart does like a good medicine, but a brittle spirit dries the bone. Too many brittle spirits out there. We need to find them and get them to laugh. And finally on that one, give back to your community and pay it forward. Believe that you are a miracle. You have value. You have unique talents that make a world a better place, and right now, the world needs to be a better place. So next week, as you're moving on with your life, remember the first 2 facts. What you do in the next 5 years will set the course for the rest of your life. And number 2, you have the potential to be extraordinary. Then try and remember the other 5 points. Make and manage your money. Pull the microphone back up. Believe in your personal power. Dump the baggage. Be healthy and give back to your community. In conclusion, 2 favorite words in any audience. You are in an exciting time right now. This is the best time of your life because you have so much future to look forward to. On the other hand, unless I live to be 122, I've seen more summer days than I'll see again. But I'm determined to make the most of the days that I've been given. My license plate says Carpe Diem, seize the day. I intend to do that, and so should you. Congratulations, and God bless.